Welcome. Welcome to the Wisner-Bottrell ATC, the Applied Technology Center. It's the home of the Heritage Restaurant and now Fountain Hill Brewery and Peter's Pub. Woohoo! My name is Kathy Mullins, and I serve as the Vice President for College Advancement and the Executive Director of the GRCC Foundation. And before we get started today, I want to take a moment just to recognize the Board of Trustee members that are here. If you could just wave your hand. All right, thank you. I'd also like to recognize the Foundation Board members that are here today. If you could all just wave your hands. And finally, how about elected officials that we have here today? Can I get you to raise your hand? All right. Thank you all for coming, and thank you very much for all that you do. We appreciate your work very much. You do a lot for this community, and we're very thankful for you. Now, I'd also like to take a minute to introduce our special guest today. We have Peter and Joan Secchia. Their daughters, Stephanie and Sandy. And their granddaughters, Elsa and Julia. Thank you all. Today is a very exciting day for all of us at GRCC. We've been working on this brew pub for 2 years. And now that 2 years is up and we're standing here today, we have the only brew pub in the country that is owned and operated, federally and state licensed by Grand Rapids Community College. So next I'd like to introduce to you a man that's been working on this program since day one. Dan Gendler is a SICE faculty member and former department head for SICE. And Dan, and who? Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's turning the radio down. Okay. Dan? Okay, then you know who I'm going to introduce? Bill Pink. Bill, why don't you come up front? Bill is the Dean of Workforce Development, and he will talk to you about this program here and maybe introduce Werner and maybe Dan, if we can find Dan. Huh? Okay.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say welcome to all of you. It is, I cannot tell you, there are several people in this room right now and on this campus that can definitely relate to me when I say how hard of work has gone into establishing this brew pub. As Kathy mentioned, we are the first college university in the country to have our own fully owned and operated brew pub or brewery on our campus. Now, you'll see this all over the country. You'll see all these other schools that say, now wait a minute, we have a brewery on our campus as well. That is probably true. But usually what we've seen is that a lot of those breweries on other campuses are owned by a third party, another brewery that's helping out that institution, partnering with them, and those are great, and I will tell you that those are really good and high quality programs from what we've heard. But Grand Rapids Community College, we are the first to have a federally and state licensed brewery by us, owned by us, ran by us, of any community college or university in the country. And I think it goes toward quality. I think it goes toward reputation. I think it goes toward what we do here in Grand Rapids as a community college, which is to be responsive to our community and to be responsive to the needs. And you'll hear a little bit more about that, especially when Dr. Ender and Peter get up and kind of tell you about some of the genesis of this. But I thank all of those folks as part of this GRCC family and those who are outside the family, those who are in our our construction partners, our partners in the community that have instructed us, who have advised us, who have told us what this needed to look and sound like. And what you're going to see today are the fruits of the labor of many people. But what I want you to notice more than anything today are the students, because the students are the ones who brew the beer that you're going to taste. You're going to taste some beer, aren't you? Okay. The beer that you are going to sample and that you'll see there, the students that'll serve you, you're going to see students. And for us, when it comes to our students, that's what this is all about. The students that we have here and the industry that our students can serve through our training. So we're happy and proud to make it to this day. It's a special day here at GRCC, and we're thankful for it, and we're thankful to all of those, Peter and others, who are a big part of getting this thing up and running. Thank you very much. Oh, yes. So our head brewmaster cannot be with us today because he is actually in Washington, in Yakima, doing some selection on hops. I thought, wow, that's our brewmaster doing that. But his name is John Stewart, not to be confused with The Daily Show, former host John Stewart. John Stewart came to us from Perrin Brewery, and we are so happy to have him as part of this program. Was instrumental in getting in and really getting hold of this curriculum and this brewery and this program. So we're very happy to have him. Want to introduce to you, is Werner coming up next, or do I need to? I want to recognize him. Our new program director of the Sekia Institute for Culinary Education is Dr. Werner Absinger, right out here. It's important for you to know who he is because he is the leader now with the Sekia Institute. Dan Gindler, having now gone to our faculty, you'll hear a lot from Dr. Absinger as time goes on because the man hit the ground running, and we're proud to have him on board as our new program director. Thank you.
Thank you. And now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce you all to the 9th president of Grand Rapids Community College, Dr. Stephen Ender.
Thank you, Kathy. And actually, Bill is only 18 months here, and he's also hit the ground running and really worked hard to get this program off the ground. So Peter calls me one day, and that's always interesting, you know. It's interesting when Misty says, Peter's on the phone. And Peter, yes. He said, Steve, you know. He said, you know we're like Beer City, USA, right? I said, yeah, I know that, Peter. He said, well, you know, I've been talking to these brewers, and they can't find any help, you know, so we've got to do something about that. I kind of thought I knew where this was going. Of course, I was thinking, Peter, why don't we do a distillery? You know, do we really? But, you know, it took me a while to come around a bit, but Peter is a persistent man, and we continue to vet this, and Peter led us to the brewers, the guys that own these businesses, sit down and help us look at how and what a curriculum would look like, what is really needed in the industry. And what Peter and I kind of had envisioned was a classroom with a couple of small tanks in it and teach a little chemistry, and, you know, now you know how to make beer. This is not exactly what you're going to see today. And it's a good thing that faculty and others get involved, because what you will see today and experience is state-of-the-art facility. And a program, we have students here that have never brewed a beer, and we have students here right now that are working full-time with founders, and the Brewery Vermont is here. I know they're here. There's a need to bring someone in that knows the business, and that's what we do in a 2-semester experience. You learn the business from soup to nuts. And none of this would have happened without Mr. Peter Sekia, and I have been thanking Peter since the day I arrived here, because he and Joan have been helping this program and this institution since the day I arrived here. Peter, if you don't know him well, you don't know he's got this heart that is big as a lion, and he can be real gruff with me, and Steve, keep your hands out of my pockets, and I'm not doing this anymore. And so what's your problem again? I mean, and I love that about him. The fact that, and others, the faculty and staff, others, you need to know this. It's not just a raving fan around the Secchia Institute for Culinary Studies. Peter's a raving fan around the work GRCC does for this community and this region. I'll get copied on emails where he's shipped an article off to a county commissioner or to the mayor or to industrialists, and look what our community college is doing here at GRCC. And I'm grateful for that, Peter, very grateful for that. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce a person who I call a friend, a collaborator, an instigator, and I won't say anything more. I think that's perfect. Ambassador Peter Secchia, please come up so we can thank you.
Well, I wish you weren't leaving, Steve. I know that you've done a great job. It always bothered me that community college had lost 2 millages, and I knew what they offered this town, and especially preparing young people for employment and helping those who have had problems with their life getting ready for employment, and seeing people here in their 30s and 40s coming back to get an education. And when Juan Oliveras approached me about getting behind the culinary school, we talked about how we could take it many different places. And Juan left, and then I talked to Steve for several years about taking it different places. And I really want this community county to know, if you haven't been in the amphitheater, the cooking amphitheater, the teaching amphitheater that is named for my grandmother and grandfather, because I wanted to build that to show that this was a school that could compete on the national television level on culinary. And last year, as you know, many of you know, we were ranked in the top 20 culinary institutes in the United States, in the top 20. And there are hundreds. I mean, I don't know what the total number is, but there are many. As you know, they're open. They're all around us. We got Baker, we got Kalamazoo, Western. They've all got culinary schools, and it's a big market. But when you're the beer people, I went to visit some bars, and not to drink. I don't want to mean it that way. No, I don't drink much anymore because I'm too old and too fat. But the problem was, I said, how do you find workers? We can't even find workers, entry-level workers in our plants to push the lumber through saw machines. How do you get them when they're supposed to learn hygiene and safety and standards of quality? And where do you get them? And they said, well, we sort of beg for them. So that's when I came to Steve and said, hey, we want to be proud of community college. So we want to show that we're providing an economic good for the people who live here. And we have to get the word out. And along comes Kathy Mullins, the new foundation director, to visit with me. And she wants to talk about money, as usual. But I also suggest to her, you got to start getting your story out, because people don't know the story of this. So we invited all 19 county commissioners to dinner in the amphitheater. I think we had 17 or 18, maybe all 19. And we gave them a sheet of paper to show them how many kids, young people, in their districts, identified by the zip codes and the maps, lived in this city or this county and were in their district. And they looked at 263, 1,300, 1,100. They said, I got that many people who live in my district. So while you're out knocking on doors, sucking up for a vote, remember these people from community college, you got to pay attention to them, and they're part of the county. They're no longer part of the city. And one of the problems we've got is you're identified as a city school because that's how you started. And the city school's now got a few things to be proud of. #1 high school in the state, City High. And you've got probably the #1 community college in the state. And we got the #1, you do. I didn't have to read the statistics. I just assumed it. or you'd be, or, we'd be working right to get him to leave a little earlier if we weren't number one, right? Thank you, Steve. He's a good man. Well, that's it. It all happened, and my wife and two of my children are in from Seattle and New York City. They're here for Art Prize. They didn't come all this way for a glass of beer. But I'm happy to see them, and I would be seeing them more, but I've got the Michigan State-Wisconsin game tomorrow. And who's going with me to watch number 8? Me, number 11. So we thank you for being here, and thank you for all you do. And let's get the word out on community college. It'd be really good to have people know what happens here. In fact, Mike Jandanoa came up to me last night at a reception at our home for United Way, and he said, wow, I didn't know that the community college was doing so much, because I've been sending your memos to him. He got 3 of them in the last 4 days. In Italy, they would say basta così. That means enough as it is.
Thank you, Peter. We appreciate everything that you and Joan do for GRCC and for our community. Okay, now what you all came here for. If I could get Peter to come to the front, as well as Board of Trustee members and elected officials, if I could get you to come to the front, and then we're going to hand out some scissors. Photographers, get ready. No, you can go over there. Photographers, get ready. Just stand right here. Aaron and I will get that. Okay. All right. Now let's get everybody staged. Now everybody get up here with your scissors. Don't cut yet. Don't cut. Don't cut. Wait for a picture. Smile. Smile at the camera. Beautiful smiles. 1, 2, 3. Cut that ribbon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for coming. Go ahead and go on in and sample some beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brett Langscheid. I'm one of the adjunct instructors here. Been here working with the students, and actually, I just wanted to take a moment of your time, and this is one of the students, Stephen Holden. He's going to talk about some of the beers that they here. So here you are, Steve.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for coming out today. Again, my name's Steve, one of the students here. So give you a little rundown of the beers that we made and that are on tap today. So starting with the lightest one, we do have a blonde called Dumb Blonde. So that's going to be a lighter beer, some cereal notes there, quite refreshing. And then we do have the same beer, but fruited with peach, cherry, and blueberry. That's the fruits of our labor. And then we have the Hefeweizen, which is Pete's wheat, and that's a German style. It's made with a Bavarian yeast, so you'll get banana and clove out of that one. It's pretty interesting. Then we have the Scottish, which we actually have on CO2 or nitro. If you're not familiar with nitro, it's similar to if you have a Guinness at a bar or a pub, that creamy mouthfeel. So it's quite enjoyable either way. And then we have the Sweet A IPA, which was brewed with 4 different types of hops: Mosaic, Citra, Chinook, and Green Bullet. And that should give you a nice fruity, citrusy flavor, coming in at 53 IBUs, so still refreshing, not too bitter. I think that's a good rundown.
Also, one more note, guys. We're still doing tours tonight, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. If you want a tour of the facility, I think we're running tours every 15 minutes. We're running tours. One of the students will walk you through the brew house. They'll explain the brewing process, talk about everything that they've done to make the beer that you guys are tasting on tap. Throughout this class, we teach them about serving as well as the products that they're creating, okay? So feel free to pound them. They should be able to answer any questions, and if not, I'll yell at them. No, if you want a tour, just ask and talk to one of the students, and they should be able to line that up for you guys. Enjoy. Cheers.